This is Encouragement on Fire. So I'm glad that you have joined me today, which is Sunday at 8 p.m. Our main channel is YouTube, but we also are on other platforms. So welcome to the space. Today, we're continually defeating cancer, sickness, and disease. That is our topic always. But we have a particular topic today, and that is God's promises in using your faith and healing beyond any sickness. But particularly this month in October 2024, we're talking about healing beyond the cancer, the breast cancer. So many of you right now are going through, whether you just received a diagnosis, whether you went to the doctor and there was an abnormal scan, whatever you're going through, maybe it's not breast cancer, maybe it's something else you're going through. I just want to encourage you that God still heals and that we're using our faith. You are using your faith. You're more than the conqueror through Christ Jesus. You're using your faith. And so we're going to start out. I want you to go to the book of Isaiah in the Bible, Isaiah chapter 41, actually. So I'm going to go there myself and let's see if we can read this information. Let's see. So Isaiah chapter 41, and we're about around verse 10. So I'm going to surmise what's going on. So in this particular book, in Isaiah 41, verse 10, Isaiah the prophet, he is speaking to the Israelites who were exiled out of their place of home. And God was promising them through the prophet that I will restore you back to your place. Now, we all know 400 years has happened. There's a lot that has gone on, and there's a long story in history. We're not going to talk about that today. But the part that I want to pull in this moment is that when you feel that no matter where you are in life, right now, you all have gone through some type of sickness, or someone in your family has gone through a sickness, and you're in your moment, whether it's you have been thriving at work, you were doing it, I can relate myself, or maybe you were planning businesses and you were doing your own buying properties, or maybe you were going to school and you almost completed your education, right? Or maybe you were pursuing having a family, whatever your journey was, and you are maybe in that process right now. And all of a sudden, your doctor says to you, we need to talk. Isn't that the dreaded words? We need to talk. I need you to make an appointment. I need you to come in. And now you're in that moment, and you have to decide, just like in this situation, the Israelites were exiled. They had to go. And so in your situation, you have to make a decision that you're going to put you as a priority. I've been there where you can either stay the course that you're in, and I have to be the best in what I do. I have to be, I got to finish what I started. I'm in the process of school, or I'm in this, I'm in that. No matter what your situation, it could be physical, it could be mental health, whatever it is, you have to make a decision at this point and decide, are you important? Are you important enough to say, I need to stop what I'm doing and focus on my health? And I know many of you right now, you're in that moment. I was in that moment. I was in that moment. And I know there was my mind, my own mind, like you said, mental health is real. My own mind was telling me, Cheryl, you've gotten to this point in your life, and now is your moment to shine. Now is your moment to overcome, to be all that you can be at this moment. But we don't get to choose every moment of our lives. Life happens. And sometimes you're going to feel like you're sucker punched. Sometimes things are going to come at you from left and right. And remember, we talked about resilience. In that moment, prioritizing what is the most valuable asset that you have. You know what your most valuable asset is? You. You're important. And so focusing on, the doctor's telling me you need to change everything that's going on in your life. You need to change your eating, right? Your exercise and health. You know my journey because I talked about it in prior podcasts. And you need to get a support system around you. We're going to talk about a support system in different ways that you can reach out and get a support system. If you're saying, I don't have that in my family and I aren't that way. Well, that's a sad thing that you don't have maybe that support. However, there are individuals out there that are available to walk you through whatever that is. Hopefully, some of you who are faith-based, you will be able to go to your church, your synagogue, your other, and they will help you in the process. Isn't that why, when we have our churches, our synagogues, our places of faith, that's where you go when you want prayer, where you go when you want someone to talk to, or you want someone to help you, or you want someone to empathize. Because sometimes you don't always get that at work. You don't get that in the community. You may not get that wherever you may live. But in those places, aren't we looking for that? And if we're not, we should. We should be looking for the empathetic person when we enter a faith place, that they are there to pray with you, to help you, to be whatever it is that they can be. Because, everybody can't give up all their time, but whatever they can give, whatever they can refer you to, resources in the community, right? So back to Isaiah 41:10. So whatever you're going through, whether it's physical or whether it is mental health, that you have to decide, what am I going to do? So I'm encouraging you today. You got to make that decision. Are you going to halt your life? Remember, you guys, I took off for an entire year from work because I value me. And yeah, did it stop maybe my progress in whatever I was doing? Because I was back in school again. I know there's some craziness, but there was a lot of things I was doing, and I had to halt it. Remember the research that I finally finalized? I was doing all these things. I had to halt and say, Shirley, you're more valuable. You need to live. And because I made me a priority, I'm now here and I'm able to encourage you. So I think that was the best choice that I possibly could make, that I could still be alive to encourage you. So before we go on to some of the resources, because I'm going to share those with you as well in the community and online, I also want you to hear of a little story. Now, I love little Bible stories because um, they always encourage us and they give us examples. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if any of you out there, you love soap operas or any of those type of things, but if you want to read a good soap opera or visualize them, read the Bible. Many stories in the Bible that are so transparent and they relate to what we are currently going through right now. And in the Bible, there is, let me see, it is Luke 13, and that is verses 10 to 13. And I'm going to read it. I want you to come along with me. Luke 13, verse 10. It says, and he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath. And behold, there was a woman which had a spirit of infirmity 18 years. Now, remember we talked about sometimes people go through sicknesses for a long period of time. You have to be very resilient to maintain through your faith to get to the other side, to get to health and healing. Um, and everybody has we always used to call it a lot in life. Everyone has a different lot. What was your lot? You don't get to determine. It's what it is. And you have to push through that no matter what. And we can complain, we can sit on here and say, well, they didn't get to. Mm-mm. What is your life? What is it that's you're facing right now? And what do you have to push through? What resources do you have to grab hold to? What support systems do you need in order to survive this? So I'm encouraging you. You've got it in you to move forward. So it goes on. Now remember, this woman, 18 years infirmity. And her infirmity was that she was bent over. So I don't know about you guys. I actually saw a couple of people that were so bent over when I was going through the chemo, the bones, and I'm pretty sure it was osteoporosis too. But there's so many things that can go along with when you're going through those type of severe medications. But I'm thinking being bent over, and she was like that 18 years. I know you're thinking in your mind, can you even imagine that? 18 years. But what is your situation? Some of you are going through things, and it might have been 10 years, 15 years. Some of you going through 20 years of whatever. We look at some sicknesses or diseases, and we don't think about it as such a longevity. We have in our family members that have diabetes, heart disease. Think about what I'm saying. We always look at things like, oh, well, they're manageable. Yeah, because that person's resilient to say, I'm going to fight this every day. It may look manageable to you, but to me, I go through this every day. I got to eat right. I got to exercise. And though I may make it look easy, it may not be. You don't know my story. So I never want to look at you and say, you should do this. No, 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 no. What I'm saying to you is, I want to support you. What is it you feel you need to do? What type of resources do you feel? When we say all the resources and we give them to you, what do you think you need? Right? What type of support system do you feel you need? This is all about you and how you are going to be more than a conqueror in your situation. So let's keep reading. So she was bowed together and could in no wise lift up herself. And then it says in verse 12, and when Jesus saw her, mm, 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 he called her to him and said unto her, I love it. He called her name. That's another story. We ain't going to get into that. But he called her and he said, woman, thou art loosed from thine infirmity. Now, remember we said that we're not going to put God in a box. So when we read this scripture, everyone, you're looking at this scripture and you're saying, okay, so basically he laid hands on her, because that's what we visualize in the church. We visualize someone laying hands on someone, and now she's stretched up and her body is whole. Absolutely, that can happen. You can pray for someone, and yes, instant manifestation. I've seen it with my own eyes. It can happen. However, we could also believe that when you go to the doctor, see, when you're praying for help, you're praying for a miracle, it can come in different ways. It can come in many ways. So I know, and you know, there's a such thing called a chiropractor. There's such thing called a physical therapist, right? All of these are doctors in the industry that specialize in, right, getting the body stretched out, getting the body in its perfect positioning. So let's stop putting God in a box and saying, well, you got to go down to the altar and this is the only way you can receive healing. You can receive healing. God can say, hey, Cheryl, get up and go to the physical therapist. He's told me that. My back is better because of it. And I still laid hands on myself and I prayed. And I thank God for my healing. But at the same time, I went to the chiropractor. I went to physical therapy. Now I'm going to tell you, I needed the combo of all of them and prayer. And through that, my body is healed in many ways. So I'm saying to you, how is God going to heal you? How is he going to heal you? Now, I tell you, don't stop praying. Please don't stop praying. You must seek God daily. He said, seek him all the time. Men are to always to pray and never to fail. And I want you to do that. I want you to be always mindful and seeking to hear the voice of the Lord. So I told you that I was going to give you some resources, and I want to share them with you right now. Okay. So the first resource that I would give you, because you need to make sure that you have a village around you for you to overcome in every situation. And because this is breast cancer month, I wanted to share some great resources if you're going through cancer or the like. The first one, of course, is the breastcancer.org. Um, they actually highlight, let me see, hold on. Oh, they actually help you with treatments, information, and research. So if you want any of those three, then you need to go to their website. We also have the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and that website is komen.org. And these are resources on community events. A lot of times you go on your cancer walks, raising money, which is a great thing. So if you want information on those cancer walks, then that is the organization you should, partner with. You're not a silo. We're not doing this by ourselves. So if you want help from other people, we have to show ourselves friendly too. Okay. Also, there's Facebook groups, dedicated groups on Facebook. You should definitely reach out. You probably can do a type on the search, and many of them will show up. Oh, one of them that I found, Reddit. Uh, there's so many communities. Like if you have questions now on this podcast, you can always put questions in the chat or on the screen. And when I follow up on them, I will answer those questions. You can always actually call us on our phone line 856 857 1859. And if you leave a message or you have some information you want answered in our next podcast, I will answer some of those questions, as well as sending the email to us. But Reddit is a great community because many people give their examples of their personal experiences, as well as I believe there are some professionals in the physical and mental health on there, and you can get questions answered as well. Also, there is the cancercare.org. Those are support services. So if you need to be able to get support in groups in your local area, you need to reach out to them. Okay. I found this one on there. It is the pinkfund.org. It's about funding. I'm not too familiar with that one, so you're really going to have to look into it, but I did come across that one. And also there is, let's see, Living Beyond Breast Cancer, lbbc.org. And if you are looking for information on education and support, they have it available. And also, there is one more. It's Please Be Seated, Breast Cancer Support Network. That's pleasebeseated.org is for emotional support. Now, I'm not endorsing any of them. However, I'm letting you know there is support out there. So you have to do your research. And when you're taking care of yourself, when you decide to put yourself as priority that you're doing right now, it's available to you. It's available to you. So I know today we're talking in regards to you putting yourself as a priority, and that, there is healing. There's examples in the Bible of continuous healing, that Jesus was always making himself available. And one of the most wonderful ways he makes himself available to us is through prayer. So I have to get off right now. I have some things that I need to do, but I'm Shirley Farrar, and this has been Encouragement on Fire.